I'm just trying to see if anything else jumps out at me.
Leftist commentary was asking if you had any thoughts on Christian socialism.
I know that it's a thing. I know that it was a thing historically. I can definitely see it. Especially because like the early Christians were, underneath this like sort of brutal Roman Empire, and a lot of their ethos was sort of anti, status quo. And I know that there was like in the 20th century a movement of socialist Christianity. I mean, it makes sense if you have that interpretation of the Bible. And I was talking to another one of my creative friends, American Johnson, about Christianity in one of the live streams that I did with him. And half of his family are Christian, half of my family are Christian. I don't necessarily see socialism as an elitist club. I think it should be for everyone. And I don't think we're going to be able to win everyone over if we are completely dismissive of their religion. I think that as long as it doesn't hinder the goals of what we're trying to do, we should try and speak in that language in order to appeal to them. I mean, Martin Luther King did it. Yes. He was a preacher. Yeah.
So that's what I'm about to go off here. I extremely fuck with Christian socialists because if you look at, some of the most prophetic and incisive speakers of past and present, let's talk about Martin Luther King, let's talk about Cornel West, let's talk about Chris Hedges, all people who I think under some degree would fall under the Christian socialist banner. They are some of the most insightful, forthright, and necessary critics and public figures that we have right now, and they come out of that explicitly Christian socialist tradition. And honestly, I think that's one of the reasons the FBI murdered MLK is because he was explicitly fusing Christianity to the religious tradition. And I think people saw that and were like, whoa, we can't be fucking having that.
Yeah, especially because, it's a territory that the right has obviously seized for itself. And again, the left has allowed that to happen. When you talk about Christianity to leftists, there's this sort of immediate knee-jerk reaction of, oh, that's terrible. Like, how could you? Which is, I think, detrimental. I understand why it's there because, Christianity has been historically oppressive, especially in the United States, where when I lived there, I was like so weirded out because I'm from England where like nobody's like really religious like that. Yeah. And like we would be driving down boulevards and we would see like churches and like they would have all these like hellfire sermon things on them, and like it was just like very surreal how that kind of Christianity is like so out in the open in America, whereas it's very fringe, like very, very fringe here.
And yet we don't think of America, we don't talk about America the same way we talk about Iran or Saudi Arabia or, Thailand or wherever. Like
exactly. It's the same thing. It's again, different toilet, same shit. Like as somebody who has a massive Muslim part of my family as well, there are fascists in those countries the same way that there are fascists here. The fascists in those countries are basically the same thing as the fascists we have here. They have more in common than they would like to admit. It's fascism is fascism in my opinion. But I think that we shouldn't cede territory so easily once something becomes problematic. And I think that the sort of ecclesiastical language that these speakers that you're talking about speak in really appeal very deeply to the human imagination in a way that is quite difficult to do otherwise. So I don't think it's something that we should throw in the compost heap. I think it's something that's like important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Do you have any last thoughts on that you wanted to add, or should we move?
No, just that, you're 100% on the money about this is yet another arena where we have just totally given it up to the, reactionary right. We let them dominate the terms of discussion around religion and everything else. And, it doesn't have to be that way. This doesn't have to be uncontested space. Like so many other things, we can use this language to talk to people, to change people's minds and to build a better world.